Senator Bernie Sanders. He chaired the hearing yesterday at the poverty rates. Senator Sanders, I was listening to you this morning, and I am so impressed by you because, like me, you're a little further left than me, I must say, but you are a 60s guy, and you've got a heart about this stuff. And I really think we ought to hear from people like you more often in these times. Maybe in good times, I don't want to hear from you, but I do want to hear from you in bad times, because you do have something of an understanding of the role of public policy. You don't just sit back and be Herbert Hoover again. We tried doing nothing. We tried balancing the budget. We tried cutting spending. Even Roosevelt talked that up in 32, as you know. It didn't work. It landed us with 25% unemployment and a horrific economic situation if it weren't for World War II. So talk. What should we do?
Well, for a start, you were right a moment ago when you said we don't hear very much about poverty in America. And you know why that is, Chris? It's because many poor people don't vote, you know that, and poor people certainly don't make a whole lot in campaign contributions. So we kind of push them aside, except when we can use them as a political football for the right wing to blame all of the problems in the world on poor people. The reality is, and we had a hearing on this yesterday, is that not only is poverty in America growing because the middle class is collapsing and more people are ending up poor, but poverty is not just what many people think it is. Oh, people live in bad housing. You know, people don't have a good car. They don't go to the movies on Saturday night. You know what poverty is about, Chris? Many people don't know this. And this is what we heard from physicians yesterday. If you are in the lower 20% of income earners, you are going to die, D-I-E, 6.5 years earlier than somebody in the top 20%. What do you think about that?
Well, that's what I hear from countries that I was in the Peace Corps, you know, and I hear about that from the country I was in, that when they really have bad times, let's take a look at something I want you to talk about, which to me is graphic, and I don't think I'll soon forget it. On Monday's Republican debate down in Tampa, where they're having their convention next year, there was a moment, an exchange with Representative Ron Paul about government safety nets. The specific question was whether someone without insurance who is in a coma should receive care or just simply be left to die. Let's watch.
That's what freedom is all about, taking your own risk. This whole idea that you have to prepare and take care of everybody.
But, Congressman, are you saying that society should just let him die?
No.
Didn't you hear that hooting and hollering? It was like the Roman Colosseum. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that woman in the jacket there shaking her head positively. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Chris,
what do you make of this?
Well, I'll tell you what I make. I know Ron Paul, and I've known him for many years. When I was in the House, we worked together. Ron is a straightforward and honest guy. I respect that. This is what these guys believe. And what they believe ultimately is everybody is on your own, and that's great if you have a whole lot of money. You know what? If you're in a coma when you have a whole lot of money, you're going to get good health care. But what they are saying to working people, to the middle class, to low-income people, we are going to abolish Social Security. Government shouldn't play a role in retirement security. We are going to abolish Medicare and Medicaid. Now, that all comes under the rhetoric because we hate the government, but the reality is, and we're going to give huge tax breaks to the wealthy. The reality is we, i.e. right-wing extremists, believe that what society is about is allowing the big money interest in the wealthy to have all kinds of power, all kinds of privileges. But if you're in the middle class or if you're a working person, forget about it. You're on your own. And if you get sick and you don't have any health insurance, guess what? This is what they're saying. You are going to die. That's it. And I have to respect their honesty in saying it. That is their politics. That is what they believe. Forget about Medicare. Forget about Medicaid. Who
started the new religion that taxes and government are bad? They now treat taxes, these abolitionists, the way antebellum Republicans talked about slavery, like it was an essential evil.
Well, I think what you got is you got some well-funded folks which have gone on, you know, they organized after Barry Goldwater was devastated. They came up with an absurd right-wing philosophy based on Ayn Rand's philosophy. And what that philosophy is about is essentially you are on your own. And to be on your own means that we don't need any tax revenue for Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. And in fact, somehow it is wonderful. You know, one of the points you made earlier, we should also dwell on. And that is, while the middle class collapses and poverty increases, what else is going on? The wealthiest people are doing phenomenally well. Corporations are enjoying record-breaking profits. The rich
you know
are paying.
Why? Here's my theory. Now, this sounds Marxist, and I don't want to skip to your left on this, but I got to tell you something. When I see automation, when I go to a CVS that used to employ a lot of people just above the poverty level, above the minimum wage, and you walk in there, now it's all machines. Now, it's very convenient for the customer. It's all machines. There's a checkout machine, by the way, that talks to you and says, don't forget to put your CVS card in. And by the way, I used to have about 7 or 8 cameramen. I don't have them anymore. It's all automated. It's all robots.
Yes.
Everywhere we go is robots. You used
Chris,
to go to a gas station, have somebody would check your tires, check your oil. There ain't anybody there. There's nobody working at a gas station.
But here's another reality, Chris. I think that's an important point. No question about it. Robotics, automation have played a very important role. But I'll tell you what else has played an important role, and that is our disastrous trade policies pushed on us by corporate America. That is NAFTA, CAFTA, permanent normal trade relations with China. Do you know how many factories we have lost in the last 10 years? The answer is 50,000 factories. When you go shopping, you don't buy products made in the United States. They're made in China. We got to work on that issue, rebuild manufacturing, create decent paying jobs there.
You know where the problem is there? Because my old neighborhood, which was an Irish neighborhood, North Philly, now it's an African-American neighborhood. The houses are a little in bad shape now. It basically looks like the same neighborhood, except for one thing. There's no factory like there was for my grandfather to go work in two stops away on the subway. Those factories aren't there anymore. There's no jobs for the entry-level kid who graduates from high school.
All right, so
we have got the drug trade to look at.
We have got to tell our friends in corporate America to start reinvesting in the United States of America, rebuild manufacturing here rather than running to China. That is an issue. I respect you a lot because you're a 60s guy, and on this particular economic situation, you're the man to listen to. Thank you very much. I wish we didn't have to listen to you, but in these times, you got to listen to Bernie Sanders. Anyway, thank you, sir, for joining us from Vermont. Anyway, next, we're joined by Eugene Robinson, a somewhat more moderate fellow. He's an MSNBC political analyst and a congressman. You know, I have to tell you, sometimes I think the guy